Today's podcast is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. With Grasshopper Mowers, nothing gets in the way of #MowDay.
It doesn't matter whether you're on the backfield or the front yard. On Mow Day, perfection is a game of inches. It's a battle of fence line and fierce terrain. Out there, on that Grasshopper mower, you don't let anything stop your stripes. Nothing stands in the way of a job well done. For more on Mow Day and Grasshopper Mowers, visit grasshoppermower.com.
Sometimes in life, you find yourself on the right side of the line. Do you think there's a little PTSD somewhere in there in the biathlon? I mean, you've got somebody wore out to their wits' end, and now you're going to hand them a rifle? Is that really a good idea?
I mean, I'd be like that one girl, Carrie Strug, and when she made that jump with a broken ankle, I could do that.
Live from Texas, this is the Dryline Farmer Podcast. You hear that? It's Brent and Landon, and this is the Dryline Farmer Podcast.
Okay, that is right, Ashton. This is the Dryline Farmer Podcast, and we've got a smorgasbord of geographically located people on the podcast today. You've heard them. You've seen. I don't know if you've seen them. I hope you haven't seen them. But nonetheless, they got invited, and they're here. But first, we've got to introduce our always good co-host, Landon Nolan. Landon, how's it going, brother?
Oh, it's going good, Brent. What do you know?
Well, I don't know a whole lot. We got a huge. What'd you say we got? A hundredth of a tenth of rain today?
A tenth of a hundredth?
Tenth of a hundredth. So we had a huge Nebraska rain. Speaking of crappy places to live in, Casey Seymour, how's it going?
Hey, Brent, how are you, buddy?
I'm always big on introductions. Oh, man. Casey Seymour, as everybody knows, is the host of the Moving Iron Podcast, a great podcast on all things entertainment, biotechnology, and medicine. Is that right?
Mostly equipment.
Mostly equipment.
Yeah.
But those are some
equipment.
Those are side hustles to his side hustle.
Yeah.
And you can't go anywhere, just like Casey without his purse. You've got Aaron Fentanyl. We call him the Fentanyl. How's it going, Aaron?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, cool. Now, if everybody can't tell, Aaron is calling from 1987, so he might be on a little bit of a delay. But you got it. You go with the hand that you're dealt. But we've got.
He's only missing the bolo.
He drives like 88 miles an hour every day, and he just stays on the same highway all the time.
That's exactly right.
So speaking of Back to the Future, we went to we were in Houston for the stock show. We went down to NASA, and they had a replica of the DeLorean down there, and that was my all-time favorite movie growing up as a kid, because you don't grow up as an adult. But I got a lot of cool pics of that thing, and that thing was really cool. Were y'all Back to the Future nerds?
You know, I messed with Back to the Future for a minute, but I was more of like more of a John J. Rambo fan.
I liked it, but I don't know. I was just a nerd when it came to all the sci-fi stuff. But I mean, let's be honest, Rambo was a little sci-fi-ish.
Brent, how many episodes of Star Trek have you seen?
All of them. No, Deep Space Nine. It was all right. I saw Voyager, all of Next Generation. I didn't see any of the original series.
Yeah, like you said, all of them.
Yeah, no. Which, if we want to get into the weeds here, it's weird that the original series, there was only like 2 or 3 seasons of it, and it got canceled. It didn't get big until after the 80s or so, when the new stuff came on. They started making movies, but yeah. No, I haven't seen every Star Trek that's been made, but y'all have to admit, I mean, you don't guess you have to admit, you can do whatever the hell you want. The new Star Trek movies are pretty badass. I mean, you can say what you want, but when they redid them with J.J.
I'll say what I
Abrams-
want. No, they're not. So that's
well,
cool. Yeah.
you okay?
I won't even watch them, so I'm out.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of
They
them.
have some pretty. I mean, there's some pretty hot talent on these Star Trek movies. It's not like Total.
75% of people don't like it, so that's cool. Yeah.
It's not like Total Recall with the chick with the 3 boobies, but it's up there in that realm, and everybody remembers that scine.
That was a
I
great.
wish I had 4 hands right now, so I could tell I could give you 4 thumbs down.
4 thumbs down. This is movie talk with the A Team. Okay, guys. Well, no, our real reason to be here today, Landon came up with another great idea. That's 2 weeks in a row, so we're doing a running tally of that. And in this day and age, we've got woke, we've got all that stuff, and you've always heard of these trigger warnings. Well, believe it or not, all 4 of us have different things that trigger us, and we're going to get into that today. Casey, before we get into that, what is what's your latest? You've got friends over in Ukraine. Can you give us a quick update on what's going on over there?
So one of our guys that actually works for us went to Ukraine the first part of February, and I talked with him on the 22nd of February when everything went sideways. He was there for probably 10 days, I think, and then made his way back to the United States. But, everyone that I know that I have a direct relationship with has made it to either Poland or Germany or someplace like that. And they've, or the U.S. for that matter, and they've done that. So it's been it's a really interesting time. I actually have someone that I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, actually, about from the Ukraine. It's going to be talking about what's going on there. So it'll be an interesting podcast when that comes out. But it's a unique time, and the Ukraine for me, it's a weird scenario because it's one of those places I've actually been, spent some time there, and developed some relationships. So it's a unique opportunity to kind of see something that's going on in the news that really actually affects people. So it's a really kind of a unique situation overall.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be really surreal for you, seeing as how you've got firsthand experience with the actual country. I mean, This is just news to 99% of the entire world, really, for that matter. But
yeah,
it's So, did you call it Kiev up until this war?
Yeah, I always call it Kiev up until then, and then all of a sudden you gotta have a fancy. Even the people I've talked to in Ukraine, they're like, I've never heard anyone called it Kiev. I've never heard that. I've always heard it called Kiev, where you've the K and the iv in the middle is way more pronunciated. But
Casey, how hard are you trying to get an interview with the guy that was pulling tanks away with that tractor?
I wish I could find that guy. That'd be great. Be like, so you got a John Deere tractor pulling tanks. What's that feel like?
Between the John Deere video of the tank and the Chevy Silverado riding the tornado, I mean, Ford and Case have no prayer at this point.
Yeah, it's over.
Nor why would they anyway?
Oh shit! Here we go.
If I had either one of the two, I wouldn't even get out of bed in the morning.
Trigger warning! Trigger warning!
and drink rice beer while I'm at it.
Oh God.
Yep.
Who the hell invited this douche? Okay. Well,
yeah. Sorry.
I'll have to. I'll be interested to listen to that. That'll be pretty interesting. But no. So as far as the pronunciation, I just heard on the news that the reason they started saying Kiev is because they say that's how the Russians said Kiev. The Russians would say Kiev, and the Ukrainians would say Kiev. So everybody wanted to start being on the Ukrainian side. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. But that's just what they said.
Yeah. I know when I was there, the whole time I was there, all I heard was
vodka.
Nobody can wait for vodka. I heard that a lot too. But it was Kiev. I mean, that's all I ever heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Fox News for you. So do that with what you will. But so yeah, okay. I knew you had that background with the Ukraine, and now again, is it probably twice the size of Texas, or is it even bigger than that?
It's about 2 Texases, from what I understand. It's like Alaska, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was pretty large. So that's like what
Like
15.
Alaska, and then Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio all had a menage a trois. And
That'd be like a
they-
menage a 10, wouldn't it? Or,
Yeah, and they spit out this like, oh, we only have 30 feet of topsoil here, so how are we gonna make this work? Yeah, that's really what. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So-
We'll invite Russians. Did you and if this is accurate too, they say there's been 15,000 Russian soldiers killed.
Yeah, I've read that too. So I listened to a guy named Brian Suits. I subscribe to. Has a podcast I subscribe to, and he was saying that there was a Russian agency that actually said that on the air. Now the Russian Defense Ministry hasn't actually backed that up by any means, but he said if that was true, that was more more losses than the Russians lost in Afghanistan in the 80s.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Over that decade, right? I heard that same thing this afternoon on talk radio. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, but and sad. I mean, the case too. But so they had, what was it? I guess they just had some new cosmonauts get up to the space station, or a couple Russians, and they were wearing like Ukrainian, like go team Ukrainian stuff. I'm like, try to get us now, bitches. Of course, I mean, I think Russia probably knows where their family lives.
Organized. It's not a very organized front on the non-military side of Russia. There was a Russian talk show or news feed or something like that, where someone on the back was holding up a big sign they made that said something to the effect of, stop the Ukrainian war. It'd be like the effect of having like someone on Fox News come across and says, stop the Afghan war when we were fighting Afghanistan.
They need that picture of Michelle Obama holding that little sign that said, bring back our Ukrainians. It's like, it's like who said it? Bill Burr or something. It's like, dude, your husband is the president. Talk to him. I mean, why are you tweeting that out? So, I think the biggest question is, it's almost the same question we have here, is who's running the show? Because, I mean, over here, I'm pretty sure it's Sesame Street. And then over there, I don't know. I think it's a whole KGB band because...
Well, when you got the president, it'd be like taking Joe Biden, be like, all right, dude, before you bring me anything, I need to have 5 people come in here and taste all this stuff. And then I need to see what you're pouring that out of. And then you need to drink. 5 different people need to drink out of that same glass of whatever it is. It's amazing. Of course, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because you don't know what the actual media is actually reporting, if that's right or not. Hashtag fake news, right?
Yeah.
But if Putin's actually doing that, where he's like, if I'm gonna eat something, I need 5 different people to taste this and eat it, so I can watch to see if they don't die. And I need to take 5 different people need to drink this drink before I drink it, so that makes sure they don't die. That tells me that there's a lot of oligarchs out there going like, bro, I need my yacht back. Okay.
Yeah.
So give me my yacht back and we can be friends again. I got to feel like some of that's coming down their way.
So, I mean, this is almost identical to how World War II started. It's
exactly.
Like, you just take Czechoslovakia and you're fine. And look at the leaders we have now. We have Neville Chamberlain in the White House, except Neville Chamberlain was a whole lot smarter than Joe Pa or Big Guy.
I
or
feel
whatever.
like you should say you're sorry right now, but that's
Probably
okay.
everybody we have.
But I mean, what's the end game for? I mean, how many people is in Ukraine? Like 30 million, 40 million? How the hell?
It's like 40 million. It's about the same. It's the same population of Texas, basically, about 40 million.
Oh no, we're not that big, are we? Yeah, I guess we are. Anyway, I mean, how are you gonna? You're not gonna. They were starting to talk about, and I don't want to get into. We could do a whole podcast on this, obviously, but they were saying, well, they might compromise and let them have some of the eastern part of the Ukraine. They're not going to do that. They're going to compromise and let them have a little bit of their country. Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I kind of feel like, and this is just me talking, they've kind of hit that point where you've been married to the same woman for 25 years, and then come to find out you've got 2 or 3 mistresses on the side. I don't feel like that. Your wife, right? Is going to say, "That's cool. You keep the house and the cars, and I'll just take what we have in the 401ks." I don't feel like that's going to work well for you. There's going to be some backlash to that. I think if
you keep your wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there a little bit to that extent.
That wouldn't be three. That wouldn't be World War III. That would be like 3 world wars.
No, that's for sure. I mean, obviously the nukes is the great equalizer, but
I went to Ukraine. See here, when was that?
Aaron, you awake?
29.
Okay.
See, 2018, 19, and 20. Right.
Who didn't?
All those years, every time I went there was a steady stream of, because I would, I'd stay in Kiev and I would, whatever, and there would be a steady stream of armed forces guys going to the Donetsk and Luhansk areas of.
Did he just have a stroke? What did he say? You went to Donetsk and
Luhansk.
Okay.
Talk about him and Luke Collins were hanging out.
Take a drink of your tomato juice over there, please.
The whole time. I mean, and it was everyone that I talked to there never thought anything of it. There was never one person I talked to that was concerned about Russia ever invading Ukraine.
Oh, well, that's how it is in Israel. I mean, everybody's walking around with them.
But all of a sudden they did, and all of a sudden they were like, "Oh shit!"
Well, it's so weird how like Biden was literally. It's like they're following directions out of a book, as far as they're gonna invade. Like he wasn't even trying. I mean, obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I mean, obviously we know Biden's asleep probably in those scenes. But I mean, what's going on behind the scenes. But like before they invaded, he was saying, "Oh, basically, they're gonna invade on Friday at 8, in the morning or 8 in the evening." Like, okay, that's weird. That's almost like saying Al Qaeda saying, "We did it, we claim it." Right. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, well, I'll look forward to that episode that you've got with your guest tomorrow about the Ukraine. It's obviously it's nothing to joke about. I mean, it's a real sad situation, and people are fighting and dying, and it's just, awful. So yeah, but well, guys, we're gonna get into our triggers and all that good stuff here after a message. Casey, we have messages now, and they're not fake; they're real.
Because it moved up.
We've moved up in the world. We're going to hear another a little spot here from Grasshopper Mowers on the Dryline Farmer Podcast.
It doesn't matter whether you're on the backfield or the front yard. On Mow Day, perfection is a game of inches. It's a battle of fence line and fierce terrain. Out there, on that Grasshopper mower, you don't let anything stop your stripes. Nothing stands in the way of a job well done. For more on Mow Day and Grasshopper Mowers, visit grasshoppermower.com.
And again, Landon, we're going to have to figure out, maybe Casey can give some pointers, because those ads that they send us, the quality is like, it would be like super high definition, and we're like, what are we, black and white almost? And I've got some pretty good equipment. Maybe I just don't know how to use it, or I'm too lazy. I don't know.
We're like AM radio.
Word. Got to crank it, man. Okay, guys. We've got triggers here on the Dryline Farmer Podcast. So, Landon's pretty tender. He's kind of a timid guy. That's what redheads do. Because your wife's redhead too, isn't she? No. Strawberry blonde. Okay. Close enough. Anyway. All right, Landon.
Red. Mine's more of a skin color.
Well, I mean, when you were, less than 25 when you had hair.
When I was 17.
Yeah, no. We got a friend. He was bald at 17. I mean, he had the fields above the ears, and that was about it. So it was, well, heck, there was a guy in we were about junior or sophomores in college, and he was gray. It was kind of weird, but I'd take Gray over nothing. So
It's pretty sad to lose it so early. I mean, I missed the whole comb over decade.
I'm getting there. I got a retreat going on. It's like Kiev in here, even though that's not nothing to joke about. Okay, Landon, my first trigger, and I don't know, it just came right to the top of my list. Really long cleavage. Does that trigger y'all? Like, you got the lady, she's at the pool or she's at the mall, or God Almighty, we can do stock show people, except the city people that come to the stock show in like Houston. We live in a cave in the Texas Panhandle. Now, I'm thinking probably Nebraska is probably a little bit of the same. But my God, and I've been places. I haven't been to the Ukraine, but I've been to the big cities, and they don't sell bras in Houston. And some of it was you were fine with, and you're like, others were like, you need something with Caterpillar on the side to haul those things around. Aaron, you're smiling. Does that trigger you?
I didn't. I thought we meant like bad triggers.
That is a bad trigger. You got 2 feet of cleavage. That doesn't trigger you?
I got 6.5 feet of man, Brent. We're okay.
I don't know how to take that. Casey?
That's what she said.
Hopefully you won't have to.
No, I ain't taking that. I can guarantee it.
I've never seen any cleavage that's ever triggered me in a bad way. Some things are more, maybe I get a more creative mindset, but that's specific time. But mostly,
like, are you picturing them in zero gravity or something?
I'm picturing them, and I'm like, wow, this.
Because if they were in zero
I
gravity,
went to Olive Garden last night, and I didn't know maybe my waitress had maybe cotton panties on, or maybe she had.
Holy
shit.
shit.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what she had.
Maybe
on.
it's something totally cool I haven't even thought of yet.
Can you imagine? But think about it. If you're in zero gravity and a chick's got cleavage like 2 feet long, they would look like that big cylindrical balloon that's like flopping up and down at auto dealerships.
Yep.
I know.
That
when
would
my wife
scare
kisses
me.
her tomorrow, she's going to get triggered.
Well, what triggers you, Landon, as he takes a drink of his whatever that is?
What triggers me is like these newer cars that don't have and by newer I mean like in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
That don't have a key lock on the passenger side. I hate that. Sorry. Every time like you go to like unlock it in the middle of the night and you have to go around to the driver's side. I don't know why, but that just bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's really pretty easy to fix. I mean, you have a remote. They've had those for 25 years, but
Well, I got a remote, but the battery died on it.
well, I do make battery replacements. But yeah, I can see what you mean. My work pickup, it's an 08, and of course it's got the automatic locks, and I am so Alzheimer's-y that every time I go around, when you kill it, you get out, you'll just unlock the driver's side door. If you forget something, which I always do, and try to get in through the passenger door, that does raise the blood pressure a little bit. I can get with that. But but the good thing about Fords is they got the keypad on the door side, and that's man, that was one of the best things they did on small options. Aaron?
Just don't have in a tornado.
Yeah, right. Aaron, what triggers you?
Oh, man.
Casey, what triggers you?
When some man puts my wife's name in his mouth, I get all fired up.
Well, you know what would trigger me? Somebody with my wife in their mouth.
Then they make fun of my short hair, and I get all fired up. Next thing you know, I slap him, challenge him to a duel, and then we get after.
Okay,
You know.
so you could take that thing several different ways, whether it was staged or not staged. I mean, the slap almost looked like it didn't even land. If it did land, okay, first of all, if the whole thing was real, it did land. Chris Rock,
Yeah.
he is a shit. Yeah, they said his freaking tour is booked now, sold out, all kinds of waiting lists and stuff. I mean, that was the slap. They said that the slap heard around the world, but it's yeah. So if it wasn't staged, I can kind of investigate the slap not even landing. I mean, you kind of hear it when you watch the clip. I mean, you kind of hear a thud, and I don't know if that's Chris Rock hitting the microphone against his jacket or what. But, I thought it was staged up until the part where Will Smith started yelling.
Yeah.
And then Chris Rock got really awkward. And he doesn't do awkward. He is about as smooth as they get. So it might not have gotten to people to watch the Oscars, but by God, they got people to talk about it. And I think they did a poll today, like the majority of people thought Chris Rock was in the wrong, not Will Smith. And then I'm like, okay, she's got the alopecia. I'm like, okay, yeah, making fun of somebody's wife, that's kind of a reason to go. But like, if it's just a balding thing and not because of cancer,
Right.
I mean, that's not you can
Right.
be kind of professional about it.
I just wish they'd make G.I. Jane 2. That sounds pretty good.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, she made it through SEAL training. She got that first mish. Maybe she goes someplace else now. Maybe she's going to North Korea. There's a lot of things going on there.
I saw a meme today that had Will Smith and Jada Pinkett together, and after the Oscars or whatever, and he was holding his Oscar. And what did it say? Did you see it, Landon?
No.
What did it say? It said, everybody was so proud of Will Smith and his wife that they gave him a statue of his wife. The statue's bald.
Okay.
She looks like Oscar. Okay, Aaron, you're up now. What you got?
Man, I don't know. I got such a huge long list, but it's all just stupid stuff, man.
Have you listened to the podcast?
Yeah, that's our podcast.
Well, okay. Like, for instance, if I'm on the road and I see a camper,
Mhm.
I instantly lose my shit. Maybe they're turning. Maybe I don't have to deal with them. I don't know. But everybody that buys a camper buys half the pickup to pull it with.
Now you're talking a pull behind, a bumper
Yeah.
pull.
Yeah. Or like if you got a diesel pusher, I'll get over for you, man. That's tits. Anything else, get out of here.
I love that nomenclature. That's the tits. Casey, you've got a camper shell on your pickup. I know you do.
No, I actually don't. But
He's
if I
the
did,
kind of guy that would, and because it's handy.
it's handy.
My dogs like it.
Yeah. I would do something along the lines of not a full-blown camper shell, like we're talking like, hey, I'm going to go sleep in my camper with the, over the top.
Like serial killer camper shell.
Yeah. I'm talking like, pedo type shit. Enough like that.
Free candy.
what I mean?
Free candy
I'm talking
camper
like-
shell.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not like that camper on my profile with all the pigs' heads sticking out.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I've already forgotten about that. God, that was weird.
I'm talking more like what's the best way to put this? I'm talking more like you know what? I'm gonna go to Sam's. I'm gonna put some chocolate bars in the back. I don't have to worry about it getting wet. That's what I'm doing. Right? My camper shell.
How many
Tonneau
chocolate bars
cover?
do you buy at a
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm doing.
okay, since we're on the subject, what about the what's the correct terminology for just the bed cover, like the not the shell, but just the bed cover that's like level with the
Tonneau
bed of the
cover.
huh?
Tonneau cover.
Tonneau cover.
What are those about?
They're just the
Why not
you
just-
described it, dude? It's a bed cover.
Why not just get a van?
I don't know.
I mean,
would.
put yourself out of your misery and get a van.
I'm a big conversion van fan, so
Oh God. Do you have the tassels up in the top of the windshield?
no, but
Does it have
Yeah.
blinds or curtains?
Yeah, you gotta have the
hell
fuzzy.
yes,
fuzzy
you gotta
dot.
have it, and you gotta have like the arrow roof, the little windows up above.
You gotta have the fuzzy dice on the rearview
Mhm.
mirror.
You got to have like that. You have to have that Freightliner air spoiler at the top of the top of the van. Just like this is Uncle Rico is basically
Yeah,
what
you
we're
gotta
talking
Hell
about.
yes, man.
Yeah, you gotta have the extension.
It backs up. It beeps like a freaking
An
Peterbilt.
old Chevy with a 6.2 diesel in it.
Oh God, man, that is, man, you'll never be lonely another day in your life with that. Of course, you won't be able to be within 500 yards of a school either, but at least you won't be lonely. Oh God, yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. When somebody asks, "Can I ask you a question?" Obviously, you just did. I hate when people ask that. Can I ask you a question? I'm just going to tell them, no, you used it up. You just used up your question. I hate that. And moving on to the next one. Overused memes. The meme of Will Smith and Chris Rock was old 12 hours after the event happened. People ran that son of a bitch into the ground. Oh, my God. It's like an airplane in China.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh. How about mindless studio audiences? This was on, I put this on Twitter today. Let's see, how did I put it? Mainly the Maury Povich audiences who cheer on the skank that's on the stage for the first 20 minutes of the episode. The DNA results come out, exonerate the guy from not being the father, and they automatically switch teams and cheer for the dude. Like they didn't just get through cheering for 20 minutes for the skank on the TV. And I love it, man. The comments in these YouTube videos are just, I mean, they are my people, because every time they say you're not the father, she goes and makes a beeline backstage, and that cameraman is on her ass. And then they've got the cord guy carrying the cord behind the camera guy. And I mean, it's like a freaking sprint relay to stay on this skank all the way backstage. It's one of my favorite things in the world to watch.
They're just zooming in on that 2 feet of cleavage.
front and back. Front and
I
back.
have seen that on Jerry Springer numerous times.
We had a complete episode on You Are Not the Father on the Dryline Farmer podcast.
You are not the father.
You are, and I love how he leans into it. You are not the father. I mean, he leaves that space because he knows those women are fixing to talk some mad shit, and then he drops the knot. Oh, man. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful moment in the history of television.
Yeah.
Daytime television.
The breakdown
My
of
favorite
society.
Maury Povich deal was I was watching one time, and this chick comes on. She's like, I know you're the dad because 15 months ago we had sex. Now next thing you know, I got a baby. And the guy was like, you understand, it takes 9 months to have a kid, right?
What are you, a horse?
Yeah, but you're the only guy I've been with. And he's like, I'm pretty sure if it's been 15 months. Listen, of course, then Maury Povich goes, you are not the father. And he's like, yeah, that's right, yeah.
The dude,
That's right. He's like high-fiving people in the crowd and stuff. Like,
dude, and then they turn into Olympic gymnasts, dude. They do a whole floor routine. They do like 3 somersaults right on the stage. I mean, it's such a beautiful sight to see. And then the names of it's like 15 months. What are you, a T-Rex? I mean, how long does it take to gestate that thing? Good God almighty. I mean, come on, man. Oh, man. But yeah, it's, but then they have the same woman on like there was one, I know it was at least 10 times. Like this is her 10th appearance, and she still don't know who that baby daddy is. And then the names they give these kids.
Where she live?
Oh, I think like East Scotts Bluff.
Nebraska.
Who is this woman you speak of?
Where can I find her? I'm thinking she might be on the under that trend line on the Hot Crazy Matrix. I'm pretty sure she's underwater on that.
She's on Farmers Only.
That is down in the corner.
Oh, they need to make a Maury Povich dating app. They seriously do. I think that's the only way these people are getting together, because there ain't no way the cosmos is bringing that together. The odds are just too great. So yeah, but no, the names they give the kids like Sapphire and Truly, and it's like they just go to the liquor store and start pointing at bottles and naming kids. It's like,
White Claw.
in the case of 12-month-old White Claw.
You're gonna have a good job down at the strip club, Diamond, and I'm gonna make sure that happens well for you.
Yeah. In the case of 8th-month-old Peace, while the parents are killing each other, it's yeah, I mean, it's really sad, but I mean, it is some quality entertainment. So yeah. Hell, I guess Steve Harvey, he's got some new show where he's like he's kind of like, it's like what kind of love judge or relationship judge or something, or what is it?
I think Common Sense Judge.
Huh?
think he's a common sense judge.
I mean, he's obviously not a legal license judge like
Yeah, he's
Judge
not
Judy.
Guy has like 30 TV shows.
I know. He's like Drew Carey was in the 90s.
When the hell does he sleep?
They're like, all these real judges suck ass. We're gonna get this good guy over here.
Judge Wapner was a bitch. We're gonna get Steve.
This guy with a personality and let him go.
They ought to get old Judge Ito. He's got to be retired by now,
Well,
right?
that dude's probably dead by now. Hell, he was 60 in the 1994, wasn't he? We got to look him
No,
up.
he was younger. Wasn't he really young?
Was he? Let's look it up.
Dude, I
Wow.
don't know. My mom watched every damn second possible on 3 networks of OJ shit and ruined 2 summers of TV.
I thought it was just on NBC.
Oh no, dude!
Like the
'Cause
whole
by then
live
we
feed.
had actual cable at
He's
the farm.
He's 71 right now.
Really? He could be on TV.
So that means
Before
okay. So 2022.
He was in his early 40s.
he's about 43.
Yeah. And then didn't they get a different judge or was that for like the civil trial or something? I don't know.
I think
Anyway.
civil trial was different.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Judge Lance Ito. Oh yeah, I watched. I remember watching the verdict. I remember watching some hours of it, but it wasn't just because it took what all summer.
Oh hell yeah! Into the fall, it was like damn near Thanksgiving.
Murder
I
trial.
remember watching that in high school civics class.
Yeah. I remember in
Junior
junior
year.
high, and they showed us they like put the verdict on all the TVs in the rooms.
Wow.
Yep.
So that was 1994. So we were I was only 13. So
I was the junior, I think a junior in high school, maybe.
Yeah, you were because I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
so the case wasn't until 95. The murder
Yeah.
murder took place in
Murder
94.
was like
Yeah.
summer, June of '94.
So here you go.
That's when
So-
Snoop Dogg came out with that "Murder Was the Case That They Gave Me" song, and that was the whole thing, you know. That
Yeah.
part.
You know who I am, damn it.
yeah. He just wants to see his fish. So he was formally charged on June 17th, 1994. He did not turn himself in until at the agreed time. Let's see. So that's basically the only real famous clip that Ford can use. They've got the Tornado Chevy, the tank toting, John Deere, and now they've got O.J. Simpson's Bronco.
Then you got
White Bronco driving 50 mile an hour.
Mhm. Yeah, with a guy in the back of it with a gun to his head. Okay, so let's
Who was
see.
that? What's that
Or
guy's
may
name?
not
Al-
have
was it-
done something.
Collins,
was it
Al
Earl
Collins,
Al,
Collins, wasn't it,
know who
Landon?
he is, damn it.
who was that? Was that
Al Collins.
Cowlings.
Yeah,
Cowlings.
Cowlings. Okay.
Cowling, Al Cowling.
Well, hell, that's close.
that's not the guy's name. That's not it.
Dude, don't doubt Landon. This dude's like a freaking 1980 and 1990s. Al Cowlings. Al Cowlings.
Wikipedia.
I'm looking at it. Al Cowlings is a former American football player, born 1947.
Yeah, it's like the cowl on your vehicle.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, cow, the animal, and then yeah. So the cow was driving the Bronco. That's kind of perverse. I never put 2 and 2 together there. Dude got around Bills, Oilers, Rams, Seahawks, Rams, Montreal Alouettes, and then the
Alouettes.
49ers. Alouettes.
Alouettes.
Alouettes. Whatever.
What's that?
I don't speak Frenchy Canadian.
No, you got to untexan it a little bit to get that Alouette
Yeah,
stuff.
let me tell you something, dude. Aaron Fentanyl is the epitome of poetry and literature. You got to untext that shit a little bit.
Dumb shove bitch.
You dumb son of a bitch. Look at my cowhide I got behind me with the bullhead up there above my cross.
I'm Aaron Fintail. You don't talk to me like that.
I done killed this cow behind me with my bare hands.
You know what?
I choked that son of a bitch down.
That's like $50 at Hobby Lobby.
That's actually
That's even more impressive.
that's actual wood for a cross of Christ right there. We know where I got that at Calvary. Talk about sacrilegious. Oh God. So yeah, no, that was the thing I remember them turning the televisions on in school for was the and I guess this was the same year as the OJ trial was the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was in '95.
That was in April.
Yeah, that was the same.
April '95. Yep.
So that was the same. Is that the same day that the Columbine kids did it? And Waco? Wasn't that all the same?
No, Waco,
different
Waco
years,
was
but same.
93, OJ was 94. Oklahoma was 95. Columbine was 98 or 99.
Oh, that's right, because we
Yeah.
were in
No,
high
it was
school.
not. I was still in high school.
Yeah.
when Columbine.
Columbine was, I
like-
think I was a
Because
senior.
I was already at ag school because it was on 420 day.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, it was. I remember I was in high school.
I was still in high school when Columbine happened.
Well, now we didn't all take 6 years to get out of high school like you did.
So
I
in
know 3 of
1990
you are Googling shit and one of us is right. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
It was 99.
4/20/99. Damn.
Oh.
Damn it. Is he still
Hey,
there?
you
Is
wanna know
Casey still there? Huh?
You want to know
I wasn't
something?
right. That's not right.
No.
It
Dude.
took me until
It
30
wasn't.
minutes into this podcast to realize all that what you guys kept talking about over and over again was the Will Smith Chris Rock thing,
Mhm.
because I hadn't heard any of that. When Casey texted me that earlier today, I just assumed that was him. So I don't know shit about current day, but the 90s, I got you.
Okay, so Columbine was 4/20/99. Oklahoma City bomb was
4/23/95, right?
let's see. I don't know, Rain Man. Hang on.
It was like it's April '95. I remember that.
Yeah.
Or it was in the teens,
April
maybe
9th,
late
April
teens.
April 19th, 95.
Aaron, I'm fixing to spill a box of toothpicks. I want you to count them.
Yeah.
If
April
you-
19th of '95.
If you don't turn on the People's Court right now, he is going to have a shit fit right in front of these kids.
And it better not be a fake judge either.
It better not be no feeling, some bitch. I can tell you that right now. Oh God, that's funny. No, because I think like Columbine wasn't. I think that was the same date as Waco. I mean, just a different year. So Waco was Waco siege.
Waco was in March, I think.
April.
Wasn't it late March?
So the siege was between February 28th and April 19th of 93. This is Waco.
Yeah. February 28th to April 19th.
Yeah, and I
I
think
mean, it ended April 19th of '93, and Oklahoma City was April 19th of '95.
95. Yeah.
I think the number one song at the time was that Barbie Girl song.
Oh,
Just
God.
kidding. Yeah, just-
Why? What the hell?
like, how do y'all know all this shit?
Fucking
we
Waco.
have smartphones, dude. You ought to try it someday. Barbie
I just
Girl is a
remember
song
it,
by
'cause I
Danish.
still lived back then.
God, dude. April of
Fuck you,
'97, dude.
That
Oh.
son of a bitch. Don't get me started on that whole deal.
Who?
On Waco. That's just a whole thing.
Who? Fentanyl?
No, I mean, it's like, if they really wanted to get David Koresh, the guy ran 4 miles every day.
Right.
I mean, they could have, he worked in town for crying out loud. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
they could
didn't,
have.
didn't the FBI try to like sneak a bunch of guys in like
Mm.
stock trailers? And they
Yeah.
knew that was coming. I mean, it was a mess.
That happened
They
in the
tried to do whole
miniseries.
Trojan horse thing, yeah.
Yeah, did you watch that miniseries? It was great.
Well, hell, they had. Yeah, I watched one. I mean, I know they've made more than one, but I watched. I guess it's
They made one just a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think that's the one I watched. No, they yeah, it's like you were saying, they did all that crazy stuff, and probably if they'd have just, I mean, what was the main deal? What were they abusing kids? Was that, or was it?
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, they said that
They were
dude.
just,
Huh? Go ahead.
I think they were just super religious homeschooler way out there.
Yeah,
people.
cult. I mean, they were a cult.
Right.
They're ordering hand grenades online, so that kind of got people fired up. So
Man, that was pretty progressive for 1995.
I know that's
Really?
a Tuesday in Alabama.
You know, they would have got double vaxxed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? They didn't even probably have polio vaccines for those
I'm
kids.
just kidding.
They were the anti-vaxxers of anti-vaxxers. Good Lord, man. No, yeah, I don't know. That's the only. not well versed on it either, but I would think maybe they were alleging abuse or something. And I mean, really, let's be honest, it's probably not too hard to believe. But no, they said that dude straight up memorized the entire Bible. That's like a day's work, man. Holy crap. I mean, like the entire, like they said he started with the New Testament and then went back and memorized. I don't know how you memorize it. I mean, dude was intelligent, just out of his damn mind. But so he ran. He didn't get burned up, or did he get burned up? Oh no, you said he ran every day
He died.
for exercise.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
ran every day, and then he worked in town. So if they wanted to get this guy, they could have got him without.
Like at a
Stormy.
TCBY, or where did he?
I mean, I don't know what he did. Librarian, I guess. I don't know what he did, but
Yeah.
he friggin'. But they could have got this guy if they wanted to get him.
Yeah.
Thought the way they did it. So
But they themselves set it on fire. It wasn't the
Yeah.
military. Yeah.
no, yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
It was like
Anybody
Buddhist
set
monks
anything
lighting
on fire,
themselves
but-
on fire during Vietnam.
If they really wanted to, they really wanted to get this guy. They could have done it without doing it. I mean,
Yeah, the way that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Tanks and gas and all that shit for
Yeah.
hours.
if
Could've
I'm gonna punch you in the face, I'm not gonna wait till you got headgear on. I'm gonna wait till you got headgear off so I can take care of that.
And they just should have
Situation.
called. They should have just called Walker, Texas Ranger, get that son of a bitch in there, and get Trevette in
Yeah.
there with him, and knock that door down,
Yeah.
whip
I'm
some
gonna-
ass.
If I'm gonna punch one of you on the face, I'm gonna wait until you're hosting the Oscars.
Yeah, you'll never see it coming.
Yeah. You can't go anywhere.
Oh,
I was trying
man.
to explain. My son asked me that the other day. He's like, "Hey, Dad, what do you think about Will Smith and all that?" I was like, "Will Smith's a bitch because he punched a guy in the face. It's like anyone that starts a fight in school is a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna get broken up. Go start the fight out there on some gravel road someplace where it's just you and that guy. No one can stop you from the carnage about to come your way.
Hang on, I need to pull up Dazed Confused just a second. Hang on, because in the first 5 seconds, people are going to try to pull you apart
Yeah.
Until they don't.
until they don't. Yeah. Well, I'm here for two things: drinking beer, and kicking ass.
Yeah.
Looks
Guess
like
what?
we're out
A
of
lot
beer.
If the words "I want to dance" ever come out of your mouth as a man, you shouldn't start a fight.
No.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, I was watching The Other Guys again today, and that's my new all-time favorite comedy movie. And that scene where Mark Wahlberg makes fun of this guy and he dances. It's like, so you learned to dance sarcastically so you can make fun of people? Yeah.
Yeah. We used to dance and we make fun of kids.
Yeah. So you learned to dance sarcastically?
That was really good.
Oh God, that was funny.
That's a good movie.
It is, man. I think it overtook Dumb and Dumber as the number one comedy for me.
Thanks for the F Shack.
From Dirty Mike and the Boys, they call it a soup kitchen. Oh man, such an awesome movie. Oh well, guys, we're getting towards the end of this thing. We got a little bit of trigger. I hope. You sure you don't have anything else for us, Aaron? Because you were kind of you must be real well rounded. I know that can't be the case. So how are you so centered?
I'm not. I have all kinds of triggers. I'm just such a geek and only exist in my own little realms. Just like I had no idea what you guys were talking about for 30 minutes. That has been all over the internet. And yeah, I was tired of the meme after the third time I saw it.
You don't really look into things if you said you saw the meme 3 times and you were tired of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't care. It
Yeah.
doesn't involve me, so I don't care.
You're such a selfless person, Aaron. I mean, you just
Oh,
think of
yeah.
everybody but yourself.
Yeah, not even remotely close to the truth about me.
I know what his
That's
license
right.
plate says. Number
My
1.
my thing is like when people are selling something that's theirs, and this is such a 100%. I'm like the only person on earth that probably drives crazy. Like there was okay, the god awful place we know is Facebook Marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was selling a tractor on there the other day. I have a case loader for sale. All right. I said case loader. In my brain, that's a yellow payloader. It was a Massey Ferguson loader tractor. It wasn't even the same brand. It just happened to be red and have a loader on it. And it took everything I had to sit there and say, by the way, that's a Massey 1135, which that extra, Casey's probably laughing. That extra triggers me because that's like one of my top 10.
Boy,
So I'm just like, I'm sitting there just grinding my teeth all the way to the gums to say, that's a Massey 1135 with a such and such loader. And I left it at that. And I had to leave the house.
And then you bought it.
No, if I wasn't broke, I damn sure would have. But
Boy, Aaron, dude, you were right. You got it bad, man.
or if
Holy
people
crap.
don't know the specs of like things they have,
I don't know specs of things I have.
see.
My nephew does.
I hate when people sing in the gym like love songs. Like you're trying to lift weights, trying to do some power squats, and some dude's over there singing a love song like real loud.
That would be me. I'll stay home. I got it.
What's the gym? What's that?
Yeah.
Is that next to the
It's
donut
shiny.
place?
It's this
It's
place.
shiny. It's a shiny thing that you put on your finger.
Yeah.
My biggest trigger, Brent, is Casey Seymour, but other
Wow.
than that, everything's pretty menial.
That kind of
I'm
goes
pretty
without
sure
saying.
I'm pretty sure all four of us can agree to that.
Even Casey. This is four of us. Yeah. Casey, do
Yeah.
you trigger yourself?
According to my wife, I get pissed off over nothing. So yeah, that is probably true.
Have you lost your
Oh.
Have you lost your shit over somebody calling a Massey Ferguson a case?
No.
Because if you do,
Never.
you might need to
That's
seek
never
some
happened.
help.
No.
Hey Brent,
No.
where do you go that you see all this 2-foot cleavage? I've been wondering that the whole time.
They said Houston.
Houston,
Oh,
dude.
Yeah, they
Oh,
don't
man.
That's
Pretty
right.
cheap flights from Denver to Houston on Expedia right now.
Mm. You want to ride first class? Trust me. You don't want to sit back and coach. Those things, they throw those things over your shoulder, and you think it's a head. It's like a head. It looks like a head pillow. That's what it looks like.
How much is a one-way ticket?
That's what she said. Looks like a head pillow.
Oh God, man,
so
that's
gross.
so awesome. No, yeah, the city people at the so one of the days was free admission until noon, and I mean that really brought out the crackheads. It was impressive.
Cool.
It was really
Well,
impressive.
first of all, dude, you need to identify where the 2 foot of cleavage is coming from because it has a different aura from different places.
But it starts right below their Adam's apple, and it doesn't stop till their knee bends.
They're Adam's apple.
You know that. I don't want to get into this, but what's the most absurd thing you've ever seen is a dude wearing a swimsuit with a top? I mean,
A swimsuit with a what?
the Leah Thomas dude, the swimmer,
Oh, a one piece.
a one piece.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. Oh.
Well, that's kind of hot. I mean,
Like, dude would have broke the chick would have broke the world record, but her balls got in the way. You know, those damn balls
Yeah.
drag. Do they pull water?
True memes just aren't as funny.
They just
Just
are.
kidding.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Julie, and I'm here to win NCAAs.
Luck is for dudes. I'm gonna smoke them. South
I'm so
Park.
sick and tired of all these chicks from LSU winning. We're gonna dominate it. Hashtag Alabama. Yeah.
I got who is that? That's not Roddy Piper landing on South Park.
Oh, it's like Randy Savage.
Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy
It's like
Savage.
his voice, yeah.
I'm gonna smoke him.
I'm the strongest woman in this state.
Now you just started identifying 2 weeks ago as a woman, and you've been crushing the competition. Oh God, it's so sad that's. I mean, like, so they had that picture of the medal ceremony or whatever, and they had a side by side with that and that screenshot of the South Park medal ceremony, and it's almost like identical, except one's animated and one's animated too. So anyway, it's
Both pretty animated.
Casey, why don't you tell us about the Moving Iron podcast?
Well, the Moving Iron podcast has nothing about triggering in it at all. But if you want to check that out, go to movingironllc.com everything that you want to find is there. Anywhere you find a podcast, you can find the Moving Iron podcast. So check that out. Aaron Fennell's my co-host, and we've been doing it for a while now. So check that out. And kind of long story short is, if you want to find about the economic movers of the equipment business, check out the Moving Iron podcast, because that's where it's at.
Well, give us. I mean, obviously, we're in. I don't know what kind of time. What kind of times are we in, y'all? Not special times.
We are
is
in
it?
extraordinary times.
Extraordinary
That's what
times. So
Yeah.
let's say, on a side note, say you lived 90 years and none of the years you lived in were extraordinary. Was your life an entire waste? Like, say around the 1100s or something? Were those extraordinary times?
You know, Aaron and I have talked about this quite a bit.
Uh-oh.
We really thought 2010 to 2012 was going to be one of those years we were talking to our grandkids about, you know, hey, this is going to be one of those rarefied air points of time where you were never going to see this kind of action again. And lo and behold, 7 years later, now granted there were
What kind of
overall
action
a
are we
pandemic,
talking about?
and you had a war in one of the most, you know, economically, agriculturally viable areas in the world. But all that being said, I mean, I guess as I look at this time frame, I can't fathom. Good point. My son mows lawns for a living. He lives at my house, but he mows lawns for the sun.
He lives
the
in my
sun.
camper shell under my tonneau cover or
Right.
whatever the.
What's his portfolio look like?
I would say strong to very strong.
Oddly enough, he has a case sales guy that he mows his lawn with, and this case guy is like 92 years old. He's been selling farm equipment for 55 years or something, like some crazy number like that. And I asked him when I dropped Ben off to mow, I always talk to him about what's going on in the marketplace, and I said, you know, hey Kenny, have you ever seen a time where there's no used equipment to sell out of,
Yeah.
and you have a hard time getting new equipment to sell? And he looked at me and he's like, this is the first time in my life where I've ever done something where I'm not for sure what to do. And so you're talking about a guy that's been selling
It's me
farm
every day.
equipment since 1945. He sold Case,
International cream separators.
cream separators. That's it. Cream separators. I mean, for a guy to tell me that and not know what to do and have that kind of a tenure, that tells me that we're in a pretty odd time when it comes to farm equipment right now. And there's a lot of guys out there that are going to tell you there's a lot of crazy things happening, and this is the trend line, that and the other thing. There's no trend line right now. I don't care what it is. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your things are going on. If you bought something last month, it's probably worth more than you bought it for the month before right now. And so the used equipment marketplace is a unique specimen right now. And it's like finding a living organism on Mars. Not supposed to be there, and everybody said it shouldn't exist. Well, that's what you've got right now in the used equipment marketplace.
So, is it going to lead to an eventual crash
Of epic proportions.
of
Yes.
epic proportions?
Like you haven't seen, buddy.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
it really is.
Aaron, always thinking of everyone else but himself.
No, I mean, I
Dude,
think
you're like Mother Teresa, dude.
Brent, just think when the bottom falls out of it, and I have all of this cheap machinery coming out of my ears,
That's when you're gonna get that Massey.
and then several, and then and some guy smart enough to get rid of his red combine, red tractor, gets a green tractor. I throw that red tractor on Twitter, you see it, boom, you just got a deal. So I'm thinking of you too, buddy.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's one thing,
You have
is
18 months. If you're listening to this, you have 18 months to do some really stupid stuff. And after that, month 19, you better check yourself, because it's going to get real quick.
Mm-mm. Better hope this podcast thing takes off. Yeah, that's, I mean, like, of course, in the pickup and car market, it's just, I mean, it's insane. And whenever it catches up and the market gets replenished, it's, I don't know, it's going to be something. It'll be interesting to see what the major manufacturers do. Because, I mean, obviously, we're not the only ones coming up with this idea. They know there's going to be a flood, and the supply-demand chart is going to be bottomed out. So, yeah.
Everybody's going to know tomorrow when they listen to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
There's going to be literally tens and tens of people that are going to be shocked and amazed at this Glenn Beck-sized epic proportion of
Half a dozen of those will probably be me.
Yeah, a tenth of 100. We're gonna have a tenth of 1,000th people.
There you go.
Well, Casey, that's all. Yeah, we're special times. I mean, everybody on the planet in all of history has probably said that, but it is something else. Aaron, you have Aaron, what's your story? You can't just be the co-host of a large podcast.
It's not that large. So let's not get carried away.
it's global.
No, we're on the Global Ag Network, and we'll get into that in a minute.
I know. We have less. Well, we have people from Ukraine on. We have listeners from China and all over Asia, and so there you go.
Well,
my story after the the second trigger. I am a lifelong tractor geek by trade. My father is a tractor geek. As I found out as a 40-year-old man, my great-grandpa actually was a
horse geek,
machinery jockey.
Oh.
So I come into my current role of wholesale guy for 21st very, very, very naturally. And I also try my ass off to participate in the world of agriculture as best I can, raising sheep and doing some custom hay.
So you're on both sides of the market. You know how it's going. You're a user. You're a producer. You're a equipment. I don't know, Nazi. I don't know what it's called.
No fucking way.
Landon, where can we find you on Twitter?
No Twit Landon 44.
Casey, tell me where we can find Casey Seymour and the Moving Iron Podcast.
Moving Iron LLC at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Aaron, where do we find you at?
Okay. Aaron at Aaron Fintel on Twitter, Aaron Fintel on Facebook and LinkedIn, and
Landon is giving this huge look about what the hell is LinkedIn.
I was waiting for the MySpace. I was waiting for the MySpace.
And he's at AOL. What was that? AOL.com. What was your email address? Suddenlink. Got your dial-up modem there. So find the Moving Iron Podcast. All of those places that Casey and Aaron just mentioned. It's a great way and a great avenue to get all of your information on equipment, how to get that equipment moved, because let's face it, it's in the name of their podcast and they can't really get away from it. So we're all sure that Aaron sleeps and dreams. Do you have tractor sheets?
No, they don't make them in a king size.
Well, I just assumed you slept in a twin. I mean,
no.
Oh,
got to sprawl.
It's
You're
like
not in your camper right now?
Huh?
You're not in your camper right now?
No.
I thought I heard an
I'm
echo.
not. I can't. Can you believe it?
That camper's a rocking.
Don't bother knocking.
Don't come a knocking. But check that out. And of course, you can find us on the Global Ag Network and everywhere that podcasts are found. YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on everything: Facebook, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all that great stuff. So, guys, we appreciate the Moving Iron Podcast joining us this week. We always have a great time when they're on. And Landon, it's an honor and a privilege to have myself on this podcast, and that I had the foresight and thought to invite you to be a part of it. So props to me, as I have the Aaron Fintel It's All About Me program premiering next week on BET. BET and Ebony Magazine will be Aaron Fintel. So until next time, guys, y'all stay safe, y'all stay cool, and we'll ask you, what side of the line are you in?
Source line.
The Dryline Farmer Podcast, a member of the Global Ag Network. There's podcasts, and then there's this, the Dryline Farmer Podcast.